Hello, what is going on, guys? Hockey Guy 1 here. Welcome to my review of Hobbs and Shaw. So, Hobbs and Shaw is directed by David Leitch and stars Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, Idris Elba, Vanessa Kirby, Isa Gonzalez, and Ryan Reynolds. So, the story is about Luke Hobbs and Deckard Shaw, who are on this mission to retrieve this virus called Snowflake from Brixton before it kills millions of people. So the story is done pretty well. It does go on a mission around this and does a really good job at having that kind of mission type story, and is really consistent throughout this movie. So the structure of this movie is obviously pretty basic. I mean, we got the first act, which is about showing the characters and what they're going to do with their family. The second act is kind of where the whole mission comes on. And then the third act, where they kind of go down into a big fight. And obviously in the ending, it's a pretty basic structure, but for what it is, it's done pretty well. I mean, we got the first act, which the entire point was introduced, just at least showing the characters, and it really does that well, and it does, you can see a lot of both Deckard and Luke's family, as it does kind of show both of their normal lives back to back. And the second act, where the whole mission goes through, really makes sense, and then it's really well done for what it is, as it shows in most of the mission, and it's really good, well done. And then the third act, we got where the big battle goes down, the climax, which had a lot of stakes to it, as well as the ending, which was really done well for what it is, and kind of brings a conclusion to the story. I mean, the action scenes are really great. I mean, it kind of starts off well with the opening, where kind of Brixton kills all of these MI6 agents who are trying to get the virus. And yeah, that was a really fun action scene, and it's really done well. And as well as the scene where Brixton comes into the office and then they kind of chase down that was a really entertaining action scene, and Dwayne Johnson did a pretty good stunt there. And as well, this is what makes it really awesome. And then there's the whole climax where they're fighting each other, and there's some of my own, and it's really entertaining. And then as well as this action scene where they're kind of going into Brixton's base, was really entertaining, as it does get a few jokes to it as well, but are pretty well timed in it, and has a lot of stakes to it, which makes it really fun. The humor is just really good in this movie. I mean, it's really funny, because they have many jokes that, like, I actually laughed at, which is really rare for an action movie, as most action movies have badly timed jokes, and I really like how this movie actually times the jokes perfectly in an action movie, which is pretty surprising. And Luke Hobbs was a really well-written character in this. I mean, we get to learn more about him and his family, where he comes from, as well as, like, kind of his relationship with his daughter is really done well. As you can see how he really cares for her. And even if it is a little focused, they still kind of show that. And as well as, it's just like him as a character, and going through his stuff in Brixton is pretty well developed, as he does have a few things that kind of makes sense and hide him better each time. And as well as just his character traits of being really strong really works for him. Deckard Shaw as well is pretty well written on his own. I mean, the whole reason why he kind of did it was because of his sister, which is pretty well written, his relationship with his sister, as he kind of really cares for her, as that's the reason why he comes in, which is kind of why I like how his character was written, and as well as kind of the how kind of Aaron he has throughout this movie. Like, he really doesn't really like the mission that much, and then kind of all of a sudden likes it. It's pretty well written, and as he just kind of develops throughout the mission and really cares for the mission more. Brixton as well is a really well written villain. I mean, he's really intimidating, as there's a lot of interrogation scenes where he's interrogating him people, which is what really makes him intimidating, and as well as his motivation is kind of he feels betrayed by MI6, which is kind of why he wants to do this, which actually makes sense, honestly, for why he wants to do this and become the head of this terrorist organization. It actually makes sense. Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham work very well with each other, as they both act very well, as they both really feel like their characters, and Dwayne Johnson really does bring a lot of his culture to the role, and as well as his acting is really well done, as he is really fits the character whenever he can, and really does care for his role. Well, you can tell, and actually wants to be there, as well as Jason Statham, who gives a really well done performance, and it's really impressive that he can do that. Idris Elba does a really good job as Brixton, as he does really feel like the character because he delivers his lines very intense and makes him feel a lot like the character. Vanessa Kirby even did a pretty good job, as she does deliver her lines really well and feels like her character. Ryan Reynolds even may be kind of a background character, as he's not really in the movie that much, but when he's on screen, he's just really funny. I mean, he delivers his lines so well, and is just really funny because of the way he delivers his lines, and is what really helps this movie out. Cinematography is really well done. I mean, in each action scene, you can really tell what's going on because they use the right camera angles for each, and as well as when they're first showing Luke Hobbs and Shaw at the beginning, it really helped out when they showed the split screen of both of their lives, and I really like how they do that. It makes it look much better, and you can really see what's going on with both. Set designs obviously kind of just look like London because it does take place in London, so that looks fine, as well as a set design for like the Samoan Island, which is kind of a new location, and I really like that. And the looks of it looks really good and pretty creative. The visual effects were pretty good. They were very low CGI in this movie. There was not that much of it, but for the little CGI there was obviously a few fire effects that they had to use, and it looks pretty good for what it is. But even with that, this movie is mostly practical, you can tell, and it looks really good because of how the stunts are done, and just really well done with it. With that said, this movie does have its flaws, like Luke Hobbs and Hobbs Shaw, when they kind of just are partners, do not really feel like partners. I mean, they don't really, they do develop together, but it kind of feels a bit unearned, because throughout the movie they're kind of just into arguments, don't really like working together. Then all of a sudden, the climax, they're working together, or just fine. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really feel earned, because they just randomly did it out of nowhere. There wasn't even a certain event that made them want to work together. It doesn't really make any sense. And because throughout the movie, they really just didn't like each other. Then all of a sudden, they started to work with each other, which is kind of what makes it feel a bit forced and unearned. Luke and Hades' relationship just feels a bit forced. I mean, they don't really seem like they have a love relationship, but it's really barely a focus on it, and it just feels really forced because of that, because they just randomly kiss and before the climax, and just that's about it. It's just barely focused on it. If they just really focused on it a bit more beforehand, it would have made more sense and really developed it more. It would have been a bit better. Pacing is just a bit off. Not necessarily that it's awful, but it's just a bit off because the film does feel a bit too long, because there are a few filler scenes that kind of make it feel like it shouldn't be this long, but that's about it. So overall, Hobbs and Shaw is a really great action movie, as well as a hit for the Fast and Furious franchise. And I'm going to give Hobbs and Shaw an 8 out of 10. That was my review of Hobbs and Shaw. What are your thoughts on Hobbs and Shaw? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.